Last Friday, Judge Forbes issued a final judgment, and I'm going to use a couple of words here that are legal, and lawyers are listening in, and people want to know what's going on. You can ask an attorney. It was a Rule 18 order, a final judgment declaring the law unconstitutional. And in order to make a direct appeal to the Illinois Supreme Court under this Rule 302A1, the Attorney General has to agree that the law has been invalidated and it negates the very existence of the law and in all applications. And that is the essence of this appeal.
The statement that we have released from ISRA is, after reviewing with counsel the Macon County Circuit Court's decision based on how the decision is not explicitly limited to one named person or groups of persons, and based on how the opinion clearly finds the challenge law unconstitutional on its facial basis as opposed to being unconstitutional as applied to any particular person or to all persons in the state. We acknowledge that the language therein also seems aimed towards facilitating an Illinois Supreme Court review, and we are confident that the skillful attorneys representing the plaintiffs will successfully present their arguments to that court at the appropriate time. Now, this was written a few days ago, and we learned this morning that the Supreme Court has taken up this decision on their May docket, and so we know that this has already taken place.
Now, despite these rulings, Governor Pritzker and Attorney General Raoul have pressed forward with their messaging that these rulings only apply to a limited number of people, even though the law has been deemed unconstitutional. What we have is a lack of clarity and confusion about what is going on with the status of the law. So the question I have, and I think the question that should be posed to those in the executive branch is the state actively enforcing this law? If they are actively enforcing this law, why are they enforcing a law that courts have deemed as unconstitutional? Even though there are only certain parties to these cases, the Attorney General was involved in the case, the Governor, of course, was involved in the case, and those decisions are binding upon them until a contrary ruling occurs. They should not be enforcing an unconstitutional law, and they need to express, if they are, why they are enforcing that law.
Governor Pritzker says it's ridiculous to think that Supreme Court justices who gave $1 million to each should recuse themselves. Says it's a right-wing talking point. Representative Caulkins, I don't know if you want to speak to that as the plaintiff in this case, but should these two Supreme Court justices recuse themselves?
That's up to them. We're not asking for that. We're not pursuing that. That's not an issue. Our issue is that this is an unconstitutional law. Our process goes to the Illinois Supreme Court, where we expect to get a fair hearing and defend our judgment, and we're not concerned about that.
Would anybody else want to speak to that?
There you go.